Talking about swords is always interesting, especially in the One Piece series. The reason is, the sword is one of the weapons that characters commonly use, in addition to firearms, such as pistols or cannons. In fact, many characters use a sword as their main weapon rather than any other weapon. A vivid example of this is Roronoa Zoro. What is also interesting is the sword has a long history in the story. A lot of information or interesting things that Oda-sensei presents related to swords. An example is how we recognize the three main categories of swords, one of which is the Kikudo, or black blade. As the name implies, a black blade is a sword that turns black at the sharp point. But before we start this video, please smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and click notification bell, or you will miss future anime videos. According to information from Tenguyama aka Kozuki Sukiyaki, the changes that occurred were due to the large flow of Haki for a long time. Then, another reason is the close connection between the user and the sword. In the series, the Black Blade is the most powerful sword in the world. And so far, only 2 Black Blades have appeared in the story, namely Shusui, which Ryuma used, and Yoru, which is Mihawk's sword. Talking about Black Blades, there is an interesting theory where there is a possibility that at the end of the series, there will be one sword that turns into a white blade. In theory, the white blade would be a rival to the existing black blade, and that sword is Zoro's Wado Ichimonji. According to his theory, it felt strange if a sword that was supposed to be, or was designed to be white then turned black. In chapter 1033 yesterday, Shimotsuki Kozaburo said that Enma is a sword that he considers his best work. However, he left his sword in Wano, and took Wado Ichimonji with him when he fled from Wano 50 years ago. It remains a mystery why Kozaburo decided to leave Enma in Wano. The reason may be that the sword is difficult to control due to its enormous power. It could be that Kozaburo thought that Enma would be better off in the hands of someone who had a samurai soul, and was also a very strong figure. The question then, does it mean Wado Ichimonji is not a good sword like Enma? Has Kozaburo ever used Wado Ichimonji? Why was only Wado Ichimonji brought by Kozaburo? For now, we still don't know the answer until Oda-sensei gives a hint about it. But, in essence, there must be a reason why later Kozaburo took Wado Ichimonji on the run instead of his best sword. Then, secondly, Wado Ichimonji is the exact opposite of what Kozaburo believed to be a good sword. Kozaburo has the principle that a good sword is a sword that can take the lives of as many people as possible. Wado Ichimonji itself becomes a sword that is difficult to control by anyone who has it, because they are unable to realize the destiny of the sword. What's interesting is that Kuina and Zoro proved to be able to subdue him. In fact, when Kuina and Zoro used it, Wado Ichimonji seemed as easy to control as Kozaburo said. Wado Ichimonji is an extraordinary sword, made by people who have the principle that swords exist to take people's lives. However, then the extraordinary sword ends up in the hands of his son, Kushiro, who has the opposite principle to his father. This means that Oda has prepared something for Wado Ichimonji. Third, according to Kozaburo, also that each sword has its own personality or characteristics. However, so far we have not been shown what the characteristics of Wado Ichimonji are, even though this is Zoro's longest sword. Even so, one precious moment that shows Zoro and Wado Ichimonji is when Zoro first uses the Shishi Sunsun technique. Zoro finally understands what Kushiro taught and said about being the best swordsman, and he used Wado Ichimonji to show what he had learned. Zoro then uses Sundai Kitetsu while using Shishi Sunsun, but in every important moment, Zoro always reuses his Wado Ichimonji sword. Looks like Zoro is an option that Oda has considered before. Oda himself may still explore more about the personality of Wado Ichimonji, based on the explanation above. In essence, Wado Ichimonji will be the opposite of Enma. Although Enma is a great sword, Wado Ichimonji is a special sword. It takes someone who has the right philosophy to be able to use Wado Ichimonji. If later this theory is proven, it means that the swords that Zoro is currently using are right to be able to lead him to become the best swordsman in the world. It is possible that the last challenge for Zoro is how to really master Wado Ichimonji. Zoro will again learn from Kushiro's philosophy of calming his heart, controlling himself when cutting, or swinging a sword, and using his will to protect as his motivation to win. And in the end, not a black blade or black Haki will appear, but a white Haki that ignites in Wado Ichimonji's sword, making it a white blade.